Hey, folks, and welcome back. We'd like to thank David Austin from KCOH for joining us today. And for you guys out there that are not following us on social media, make sure you do so. On Facebook, we are BTP Sports Talk. On Twitter, we are at BTP Sports. And follow our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Bring the Pain Sports. Okay, joining us now, we have two more special guests. To my far left, we have Miss Edin James. She's the owner of Starting Lineup. And to my immediate left, we've got Mr. Bruce Johnson. He is the owner of the 1000 Men Empowerment Group. He's a motivational speaker. So, Miss James, let's talk a little bit about your business. Tell me what your business does.
The Starting Lineup is a collaborative group of very tightly knitted women who we've created a sisterhood. So in college you had like sororities for women, fraternities for men. We have all came together on business terms as well as modeling and a lot of different things in the entertainment industry. Okay. So we have collaboratively been put together as a team to represent different brands, work for nonprofits, do a lot of charity organizations, and kind of make a difference and break through the industry in an area that a lot of women or promotional groups or branding networks have not broken into yet. And actually live life with a purpose instead of just being out in the nightlife turning up for no particular reason.
I mean, turn down for what, though?
Yeah.
Turn down for
We're
what?
gonna turn up for good causes, you know,
right.
and actually make sure that other events, and I've worked very closely with 1000 Men Empowerment Group, Bruce Johnson, as well as Billy Dominic Austin with, he was a former NFL player with the Colts. Okay. He also now has a nonprofit called Tackles for Cancer. We're also partnering with and doing a lot of events with him in the next coming years. So it's pretty much just about reaching out and making a difference, volunteering time, and just making a difference for women, showing the strength of a woman outside of just beauty and good looks. We have brains and strength and good humanity. We want to give back to humanity and be philanthropists pretty much is what the whole goal is.
I can dig that. And in today's world, especially, a lot of young people in general, but
Right.
a lot of young women are lost.
Exactly.
You know, in
exactly.
this day and age of social media and glamour and all this, they get
Right.
so caught up on how they look and how they appear. And it's just like the old saying goes, it's a nice house, but nobody's home.
Exactly.
So I understand wholeheartedly where you're coming from with that.
Right.
So that sounds like a great deal. All right, Mr. Bruce Johnson, tell us about the 1000 Men Empowerment Group.
Well, it goes way far back to 3 years ago when I actually had a dream, and ultimately that dream came to life. And watching young men and women that's out there that's struggling, that have background issues, whether it be incarceration or just esteem issues where they just said, hey, I give up on life. One thing that I remembered when my mom raised me, she says, hey, if you can help somebody else, be of help. And Mama used to bring these people in the house. You'd be like, who are these people? Well, you know, just they need something to eat. You're like, well, who are they? So I guess I adopted some of that from my mom. But one thing about the 1000 Men Empowerment Group, and this is not only for men and women, we've reached out this year into some big umbrellas out there in the market. People have embraced us, and again, one of those people, my good friend, and I'm gonna call him a good friend, Mr. Stephen Graham, top 10 bestseller author and educator and partner of Oprah Winfrey, who has not only taken me from having one friend on Facebook to some now 7,000 people following us on the 1000 Men Empowerment website. So I'm just saying this, that ultimately, we want to be, like Edin said, we want to be the power of, if you see a person that you think have forgotten their dream, and then now you see them again and they are in a platinum status of their life, Fortune 500 company that says, hey, you know, I didn't know I can get here. I had no way of even thinking about getting here. So with the summits that we do, last year our summit was at the Humboldt Civic Center. Of course, Stepman came in as our keynote speaker last year. It was a phenomenal time. And I'm talking about not only people of white-collar jobs that are Fortune 500, but I'm talking about that brother that said, you know what, man, I ain't got no suit. I'm just going to wear my do-rag and come in with some jeans on, but I want to be inspired.
Absolutely.
I'm coming in for a reason. I'm coming in thirsty for what this has to offer. Here's the good news. You come into some of these summits and you hear all that good stuff and you hear the speakers and you applaud for them, but after all that dust have settled, what happens to them? That's where we come in. I have a referral source, and that's what 1,000 Men is all about, a referral base that will help you to get employed, to get connected. IWA Welding School gave $25,000 in scholarship dollars on that day that I'm now able to fuel that back into the community of that person and say, you know what, I got a background, man. You know, I'm not working with all I need to work with. Can you help me? That's where we want you at, right there.
Right.
Because that's where it's going to put you back into the community, back into society, and give you that hope for a better tomorrow. And that's a little bit about what we do, man. And it's just helping those that need help, reaching out to the community that needs that embracement. Myself and Edin, with the starting lineup, put together a jingle jam to help children that
Yeah,
right.
we had a
That
toy drive.
a toy drive that these kids are all from lower income, but I mean, some 300 kids got toys this year with Jingle Jam. So at St. John Church. So again, to those ones that are again looking at what we do, touching back into the community, we're helping those that again we need to help get back from one community to the next community, but also from society that I feel like I don't fit in, but you really do fit in.
Right.
It's just that you've been disconnected.
Right.
I'm feeling motivated already. Bruce, how often do you have these summits?
Every year. And this year we're geared up for April 18th and 19th. Stepman comes back again this year, and we're talking some 800 to 1,200 people lining up to come into these rooms. And the good news is that everybody don't look alike. That's the real good news. Everybody don't look alike. They don't sound alike. They don't come from the same demographic. They don't come from the same neighborhood. And just to let you know, the youth this year, I'm allowing all youth to come in free. One of the things that Stepman and I touched on, he has the book, Top 10 Bestseller, author and educator. One of the books he has is Identity. And one of the things that I touch on is once it's over, let it be over.
Amen.
Once it's over, let it be over. So with that said, we are ignited about a awesome summit this year. We're including some of the hip hop world. Never done that. I'm going to clip some of the hip hop world because the hip hop world, they want to be empowered too.
Amen.
Okay. And if there is just one that we can help to ignite into a new business in 2015, we've done our job.
I'll tell y'all what, I don't know if y'all can feel it down there, but the table is literally shaking while this guy is passionate. I can literally see and feel the passion in this man about what he's doing. And I certainly appreciate that because, I mean, I'm from Northwest Detroit.
Right.
Not the worst neighborhood, but not the best neighborhood either.
Exactly.
I had all type of negative influence around me. But inside my home, I had a great family.
Exactly.
Now everybody doesn't have that. I could have very easily made some bad decisions. As a matter of fact, I was kind of like the square. Like, oh, he's the one that, you know, he went to school and he does this and he does that.
Right.
But everybody doesn't have that same opportunity.
Exactly.
Everybody, a blessing. I was blessed to have a good family that kept me on the straight and narrow and got me out of there.
But it comes with a dream.
Absolutely.
It comes with a dream
Absolutely.
of saying, I'm going to do more than John did. John is going to go out and get in the car with his homeboys and do this thing. Even though John got in the car with those buddies, he still has the mindset is, I'm going to only take this far of a step.
Right.
I'm not going to take that step there. It's almost like we all been there. You know, they say, hey man, take some of this beer, drink some of this, do that. You know, now y'all go ahead. And as a matter of fact, let me out on the next street. I'll go back to the house because we know what our limitations are. Today's society, kids, it's a pressure of, well, we the cool guys. Yeah, we're the cool guys, but guess what? How about if we get a bunch of these cool guys and ignite a business in them because they are, great penmen. They can come up with ideas just by writing it down.
Right.
Write those ideas down and get those kids to learn that what you've written down, you can do that.
Right.
Don't forget about it.
I used to be a prison guard.
Okay.
And some of the most brilliant minds are behind bars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These guys are some of the most creative. Some of these guys, they take their time and they go in there and they get their degrees. I know a guy who didn't even have a GED. He went to prison when he was 17.
Wow.
He now has a master's degree. University of Texas comes in and does classes in the prison. This guy went from not even a GED to a master's degree from University of Texas. Now, he's behind bars. Only God knows when he's going to be able to get out and use it. But he did it.
But he's still using it, even though he's behind bars.
Right.
That's the good news. Because someone is going to get out because of his intuition and his drive. He's going to ignite someone else saying, you know what? When I get out of here, man, and he's probably blessed somebody already that's saying, you know what? I was gonna think about going back out there and give it to those guys, but guess what? I got another idea. But the whole thing is that if we could change one life, man, can't change everybody, and everybody's not gonna follow. But if you could change one, then you've done what it is you need to do.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, man, that's all you can say. Wow. All right, Miss James, let's come back to you.
Yep.
Give our audience your information on how they can contact you, your company, your website, social media.
Okay. Our website's actually still being constructed right now, so
Okay.
you can follow us on Instagram. You can go to my page at Edin IZ Paradise, or the starting_up at Instagram also, and Twitter. Those are both our handles. So.
Okay.
Good. Just simple. Bruce Johnson, 1,000 men.
Simple enough.
Easy, man.
Simple enough. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Like, how do I follow that? You know what I'm saying? we got to actually get back to talking about some football. Jalvet, you mentioned during the break that you want to talk a little bit about the Marshawn Lynch petition. So talk to us about that.
Well, earlier this week, the fans of the 12th man in Seattle, they petitioned the NFL, and they're taking a stand for Marshawn Lynch. As for those of you who know Marshawn Lynch, he does not like the media, but he would talk to us.
Traditional media.
Traditional media. There we go. Traditional media. He doesn't like the traditional media. And so the fans have said, well, you know what? They fined him $100,000 back in November for not talking to the media. And to me, if you're asking me, I say, hey, look, he's taking an old school perspective. He's saying, hey, look, I would rather be perceived as a fool than to open my mouth and show that I am one. So he doesn't talk to the media. Last year at the Super Bowl, he didn't talk during media day, except for Deion Sanders. So a fan gets together, fan sits down, he writes. He says, look, as a 12, I'm calling on the NFL to revise its media policy that all players are given equal and fair rights as human beings without fear of financial intimidation. Because the NFL players, we only see them on TV a lot because they have an obligation to talk to the media, which a lot of people do not know. And with that being said, it's like, okay, he was, after the game against the Panthers, they sitting there asking, Marshawn Lynch, what do you think about that run, blah, blah, blah. I'm thankful. And he looks down.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. You know, he says, I'm thankful. Hey, what song did you listen to on the way to the stadium? What did that have to do with football? He just said, I'm thankful. And that was his response for every single question that every reporter had, was that I'm thankful. And so they can't find him. He was cooperative with the media. He answered their questions, but just by saying, I'm thankful. So I want to pass this along. What are your thoughts about them finding NFL players for not talking in front of a camera and not doing their media duties?
I think it's a double-edged sword because, you're required. And now I understand why these interviews are so uninformative and lame, and everyone says the same things, the same cliches. We take it one day at a time. We did this, we did that. Because they can't really say anything else, because then they get fined. But then they also have an obligation to fulfill, and they have to talk to the media to give them something to report on. So, I completely agree with Marshawn Lynch's stance. I mean, if you're gonna fine me, well, then I'm gonna do what I have to do without putting myself at risk, for getting fined. And I don't blame him at all. So.
Now, personally, of course, you know me, I've got to be the objective guy, but
That's why you're here.
Yeah, exactly. I see both sides. from a business perspective, I mean, we all here got jobs. You know, some of us work for ourselves. Some of us still work, you know, out in the world for someone else. We all have parts of our job that we have to do that we don't like.
Right.
Okay, if somebody is paying you to do a job, then you need to comply by what that person tells you to do. If you don't want to abide by the NFL's rules, then you need to go play in Canada. I'm just being honest with you. But as a former player, I understand. And now that I'm in media and I'm at the Texans games and at these events with these big name, brand name teams and players, I understand. Like we talked about some of the questions that they asked. You say they asked the same. Yeah. Well, Marshawn Lynch, you guys just lost in the Super Bowl. How do you feel about that? How do you think I feel? You know, I mean, seriously, you know, so I understand. But the reason why I admire Marshawn Lynch, I admire any man who has the courage to stand up and do what he believes is right. Or what's in his heart. Right. Now, I don't necessarily agree because I understand the business side, but I respect it. And that's why when BTP goes down for the Super Bowl, yeah, you heard that.
Yeah.
He's one of the first people I want to talk to.
Exactly.
Because he'll talk to some real dudes. We know that. Right. You know, like these guys, he don't want to talk to them. But Deion Sanders came, hey, yo, beast mode, yada, 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 boom, he'll talk to Deion.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll talk to us. I promise you he'll talk to us. That's why I want Seattle to win. Because I just want to talk to the beast mode. You know what I'm saying? And take him a bag of Skittles, maybe he'll talk to us. You know? But Miss James,
Yes.
you are admittedly a casual football fan.
Right.
That's what you told us. So you guys won't be on the last segment when we give our predictions.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you, who you got in these two games?
Man, I mean, everyone right now who's made it is actually very, very good defensively and offensively. But if you're going to ask me for my personal, without being politically correct and just giving my straight opinion.
This is BTP.
I think that we have the Seattle Seahawks and the Patriots.
Okay.
Correct.
That's what I'm feeling.
That's what you're feeling?
Yeah.
You're correct.
Just going off of the games, the trending, how it's picking up, how they're playing defensively and offensively toward each other. Man, that's pretty much who I'm banking on here.
Okay. All right, and since you're not going to be here next week when we do our Super Bowl prediction show,
Right.
who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Okay, well, if those two teams do go, ooh, that's really, really, really hard. But I'm thinking Seattle's got it again this year.
I think Seattle.
And she said again, which means that she knows that Seattle won it last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna be at Edin's house, so I have to ride with Edin. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be at Edin's house. I'm gonna just tell it like it is. I'm gonna be at Edin's house, so I'm going with her all the way, and I believe Seahawks are gonna take it on in.
Repeat. We haven't had a repeat Super Bowl champion since
2015 though. Anything can
since the
happen.
49ers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's wrap up this segment by talking a little bit more about these two games. Now, Aaron Rodgers, again, going back to the actual game, Aaron Rodgers has not practiced they wrapped up week 16. I'm sorry, week 17 against Detroit. He hasn't practiced in a month. Do you think that's going to matter?
Do I think it's going to matter?
With a player of his caliber, do you think that'll matter?
No.
No?
No, because he has that offense forward, backwards, sideways, left, right. I mean, he controls it, and he knows what to do, and he has it. And then he has a relationship with those receivers. He knows the time and the adjustments. And as a quarterback, anyone who knows quarterback, they have that time clock go off in their head. 1 second, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, that ball is out of their hands.
Well, he
and
might
it's
want
somewhere else. So that doesn't phase anything. I doubt that goes away.
Well,
Especially given his injuries, sometimes it's actually plays to his benefit not to practice, so he's more fresh. I mean, obviously, what was it? The last player I saw go through this was Steve McNair, 2002. They went 11-5. He never practiced that whole season. It didn't matter. So I think Aaron Rodgers, he should be all right. Well, not all right in terms of playing against the Seahawks, but all right. He'll be all right. Not having to practice it won't play into it.
You talk about that internal clock. Well, that quarterbacks have against Seattle. He better speed it up.
He better have a 1.5 second clock.
Yeah. He better speed that bad boy up. So, but I think that I've played with a strained calf, and I was a lineman. And it hurts like a mother, man. And to actually sit there and throw the ball off that strain calf, that's going to be different.
Well, the one
But-
thing is that it's not his plant. I mean, his drive leg. It's his back. It's his left one. So it's not his drive.
Speaking of internal clocks.
Well, that's this segment, folks. So we'd like to thank our special guests, Edin James and Bruce Johnson. Mitchell Brock, BTP Sports. We'll be right back.